able to get Kelce on the ground. So good with that run after the catch. And now Andy Reid has enough, but he does leave himself just enough time if in fact this thing were to be bobbled or whatever.
A first down bad snap. Could retry the kick if it's thrown away by the holder.
Now just remember this though. What happened in that Saints game? It was Justin Simmons who jumped over the center, and it was Will Parks who returned it. We have seen it multiple times this year. I would imagine Andy Reid has an answer for that one as well, but take a little running jump.
Just remember what happened in the overtime game with Cincinnati in London against Washington. It looked like Hopkins had a very short, makeable game-winning field goal. He missed it, and the game ended up tied.
The other guy's Aqib Talib coming off the edge. He's awfully good at blocking these kicks as well. There's Justin Simmons right over the ball.
James Winchester snaps. Dustin Colquitt holds. Cairo Santos.
Simmons.
34-yard attempt. For the win. Off the upright. And in. Unbelievable game winner, Kansas City. You gotta be kidding me.
The only way this game could end. Holy smokes. I didn't know what had happened.
Nope.
I couldn't tell did it go through or not. That thing hit that post hard. How did it go through?
Oh, it just caught the inside of the upright. And the fans back there thought it was going out. It is good. Cairo Santos. You see it passing on this side of the post. The Kansas City Chiefs with an incredible comeback down the stretch. This guy's defense started it. Some nights it's your night. This guy had a great night. Deserved a better fate. But the decision to go for the long field goal by Kubiak left the short field. Santos off the upright. The Chiefs.
Welcome back, everybody, to the TPT podcast. Today, we're going to be going over what the Kansas City Chiefs need to do to keep the streak alive versus the Denver Broncos. Now on the TPT podcast.
65 toss power trap. That might pop wide open, Rats.
So welcome in, everybody. Hope everyone had a good Christmas, a good holiday season. It'll be New Year's Eve tomorrow. And some of the things I want to talk about before we get into the Denver Broncos, of course, is what has transpired this year, this season. We talked a little bit about this on my live stream, about what the Chiefs did in the AFC West, how proud I am of the Chiefs already, how much, I don't think people really fathom this, and most Chiefs fans do, how much money the AFC West spent to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And it wasn't close. It wasn't a race, a battle. Oh, it's going to get done in week 17, week 18. You have to win this game. The AFC West was basically wrapped up halfway through the season because they had a 4.5 game lead halfway through the season. And then they wrapped it up a couple weeks ago. Start of December. It just shows you what Brett Veach and the Kansas City Chiefs have done to bring in players. And it's phenomenal. Late round guys, free agencies, guys that nobody really wanted. I talked about this. Guys like Juju Smith. No. Steelers said, it's okay. It's all right, Juju. You go somewhere else. He's on pace for 1,000 yards, having a great season. MVS, yes, he's had some dropping problems, but he's putting up a lot of touchdowns, being our long ball guy every now and then. Packers said, nah, take him. Take him. Guys like Justin Watson, Tampa said, nah, you won't even make our team. You won't even make our roster. He's all of a sudden playing well. Sky Moore, second round guy. Hardman's playing well this season before injury. So a lot of these guys, we would not know who they are. They were on teams like the Colts, the Bears, other teams like that. Just teams that no one really has a strong following for outside of their city. We would just kind of be like, yeah, I'm a Hardman, who's that? But these guys are making a difference on the Chiefs. Kelce is Kelce. Yes, we know that. He's a top 3 tight end of all time. But these other receivers are nobodies. Our first-round running back from a couple years ago, he hasn't panned out how we thought he would. Clyde Edwards. Still like the guy, but he's been injured. Okay, who comes in? Oh, the second to last pick. He was almost Mr. Irrelevant. Who? Isaiah Pacheco? Yeah, that Isaiah Pacheco guy. Bulldozing people right now. But I think he'll be 1,000 yards back for the Chiefs in the upcoming years. Bulldozing guys. He didn't start till week 5, 6 versus I think it was the Bucks. Or maybe it was after the Bucks versus Buffalo. So he's all of a sudden a 7th round pick is their starting running back playing well. Jerick McKinnon was written off. 30-year-old guy, 2 injured. He's had 6 touchdowns in 3 games. All these guys, all these pieces to the puzzle, that the Chiefs are still the number 1 betting favorite to make it out of the AFC. But you look at the roster, and I have these people say to me, well, Patrick Mahomes has McKinnon. Patrick Mahomes has this guy. Patrick Mahomes has that guy. But before the season, it was, who does Patrick Mahomes have? And it's really funny how the narrative changes with these NFL fans, how it's Patrick Mahomes. Who does he have before the season? All these Denver Broncos fans told me. All these Chargers fans. All these Raiders fans told me. Well, who does Patrick Mahomes have? He doesn't have anybody. Well, it looks like he's doing just fine. He's going to be the MVP of the NFL. Just fine with these late round pick guys. And even on the defense, credit to Brett Veach for bringing in some young guys. Yes, the corners have been up and down at times, but they're young. They're going to come along. McDuffie has been playing really well. George Karlaftis has been playing really well. There was a lot of guys taken in front of him. He's playing better than those guys. Maybe besides Hutchinson and Walker. But he's been playing better than a lot of these other guys. I haven't heard too much from Jeremy Johnson. I haven't heard a lot from these other guys. And Karlaftis leading the league in batted passes. Has 5 sacks. 3 sacks in 4 games. He's playing very good football. So shout out Brett Veach. Shout out for this Chiefs team. Everyone said they weren't going to do it. Everyone had saying their backs were going to be against the wall. And they stood tall and they got it done. Okay, now I'm going to move on, ladies and gentlemen, to the Denver Broncos game. The Kansas City Chiefs have dominated. And I mean dominated with a capital D. This is where the Chiefs fans are going to sit here during this segment and just get themselves a nice buttery popcorn and just chill out. Because they just, it's music to these ears. And I'm mostly talking to the 35, 40 to 50-year-olds and older. Because they, right now, the John Elway games are just floating in their mind. And now they just think, oh my God, those years sucked. John Elway just raising his hands after they would just beat the Chiefs, or just they would kneel and the Chiefs would just be done, and the depleted faces from the Chiefs faces in the 90s. But it's a new dawn. It's a new era. We have risen. because the Kansas City Chiefs are looking for their 14th consecutive win over the Broncos. The Denver Broncos have not beaten the Kansas City Chiefs since Barack Obama was sitting in office. We've had 2 other presidents since then. We've had Donald Trump and Joe Biden in office since the Denver Broncos have last beaten the Kansas City Chiefs. And it was almost a fluke win. It would have been since 2013 or 2014. If y'all don't recall that, it was Jamal Charles. There was about 29 seconds left, maybe 15, 19 seconds left, something like that. And they tried to just run the ball, just try to get one more little run, see if Jamal Charles could break house. He fumbles, Denver picks it up, they score. The next time we played them, it was the Denver Massacre. 4 interceptions from Peyton Manning, and he broke the all-time passing record that game. They bench him at halftime. Brock Osweiler comes in. He's playing terrible. They're almost going to bring Peyton back in. So since that game where the Chiefs had 5-6 interceptions versus the Broncos late in that 2015 season, the Denver Broncos have not beaten the Kansas City Chiefs. And most of the time, it hasn't been close. I remember in a 2016 game, I talked about this on Christmas. That was a just absolute gift for me, is when the Chiefs beat the Broncos in Denver, a double doink field goal to go in by Carlos Santos on Sunday Night Football. Tyreek Hill's rookie game. Alex Smith, Travis Kelce, all those guys, Jeremy Maclin, all those boys getting it done to beat the Denver Broncos, that double doink field goal. I mean, and the thing is, we heard all offseason how the Denver Broncos had the championship experience quarterback. They had their guy. They're going to go far. And their head coach just got fired. And don't get me started on the Raiders. They just benched Derek Carr. Chargers have had their problems too. They've had their problems too. Injuries and play calling and defensively. They've had their problems, but I still respect them hell of a lot more than these other guys. Hell of a lot more. And it's starting to get crazy because I can remember the AFC West being Chiefs, Denver, Raiders, and those were the 3 big powerhouses. Yes, the Chargers had their days in the mid-'90s for a hot second. Then in the early 2000s, Drew Brees for a minute, Phillip Rivers. But they never were really... There was a couple of years with LaDainian and Phillip Rivers and that crew. They had a good team, but they never were that powerhouse. They never were the Ravens. They never were the Pittsburgh Steelers. They never were the Patriots. They never were their top dogs in the AFC West. They were there, but they were never those top dogs. So in the AFC West, historically, it's always been Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos fighting it out. And now it's becoming where it's the Chiefs and Chargers that are just fighting it out every year. And if you notice what the pattern is of why that is, it's quarterback play. NFL quarterback play can get you such a long way. I respect Derek Carr, great guy. I also respect Russell Wilson, great guy. I used to be a huge Russell Wilson fan before Patrick Mahomes. He was my favorite quarterback outside the Kansas City Chiefs. And neither the Raiders are a lottery team, and the Broncos, they don't have a first-round pick because they traded all for Russell Wilson. And now they're having to beg, the Broncos are having to beg to try to probably get Sean Payton this offseason. And I still don't think that'll save them because I don't think they have the wide receivers, and I don't think Jerry Jeudy will want to be on that team next year. And I don't know if Sean Payton's a guy that wants to go to that train wreck. Just saying. So the Kansas City Chiefs, now I'm about to start getting to my prediction side of it. I just have the Chiefs winning big in this game. You may be saying, well, Jaden, the Broncos always kind of play us tough. They always kind of play us tough for one game, and then we kind of blow them out. Last year was an exception. They played us tough twice. But if you look at how the Kansas City Chiefs play versus the Denver Broncos, they always play them tough one game, and then the other game, boom, blowout. And why do I have a blowout? Last 2 games of the season, Denver Broncos, they just fired their head coach. The players already thinking about Fiji. They don't want to get hurt and have to rehab all offseason and have to sit there and think about, I got to stay home the first month, couple weeks, 2 months, and rehab my knee, rehab my ankle. And again, God forbid injuries. We don't want either team to get injured. I'm not saying, are you wishing upon injury upon people? No, but that's what teams that are making the playoffs think of. You can ask any former NFL player that, you can talk to them about it. So these type of guys are thinking about just getting to the offseason, getting to vacation, because the season's over for them. They're fighting on the sideline. Backup quarterbacks getting shoved by the starting left tackles and offensive line. They're thinking about Fiji. They're thinking about the offseason. So I think the Chiefs bust this one open. Pacheco had a good game versus them last time. I have the Chiefs 38, Broncos 14. And my players to watch in this game, I'm going to go with the guy who's been playing well, George Karlaftis. Love my man, George Karlaftis. I may get a George Karlaftis jersey. I'll go Isaiah Pacheco so we can see how he's on track and keeps rolling. And then I'll go Jerick McKinnon, because if he can have another type game where he has 2-3 touchdowns, this guy may be in the Offensive Player of the Year category. I know you may be saying, whoa, Jaden, that is a homer pick. But he'd be in the 10-plus touchdown area. So be on the lookout for McKinnon, for Pacheco, and for George Karlaftis. Okay, guys, now we're going to do something that I'm going to do for the rest of the season. It's going to be the NFL around the league. So we're going to talk about some NFL games, my picks for the NFL games, and then the playoff picture and what's going on with the playoff picture. So here we go. For the first matchup of Week 17, we already had the Cowboys and the Titans, and the Cowboys handled them 27-13. Give me the Dolphins over the Patriots at 1 o'clock for the 1 o'clock games. Give me the Giants over the Colts. Give me the Chiefs over the Broncos, of course. Give me the Browns over the Commanders. Give me the 49ers over the Raiders. And then the 4:25 game, give me the Vikings over the Packers. Give me the Ravens over the Steelers for the night game. Also some other games. Give me the Cardinals over the Falcons. Give me the Eagles over the Saints. Give me the Panthers over the Buccaneers to win that division. And then give me the Bears over the Lions. And give me the Jags over the Texans. Jets over the Seahawks, yes. And give me the Rams over the Chargers, and the Bengals on Monday night over the Buffalo Bills. So the Chiefs will wrap up the first seed. Okay, guys, here's the current playoff picture right now. And I think, honestly, this is how the playoffs could go down. So right now, the Buffalo Bills would have the first round bye. The Kansas City Chiefs would be the 2 seed, and they would face the Miami Dolphins in Kansas City, facing former wide receiver Tyreek Hill in a revenge game for Tyreek Hill. The Bengals would go, the Chargers would go play the Bengals in the jungle. I think that game could have potential shootout potential if the Chargers are healthy in that game. Then the Jags and the Ravens would match up. The Ravens would head to Duval, and they would play the Jacksonville Jaguars. That would be your AFC. I think that's similar how it could go down. I think the Ravens do have a chance if Lamar can return to take the division, but it could still end up being the Bengals. The Chiefs, if they can win out and the Bills lose a game, they would have the first seed. But mind you this, the Bengals, if they went out, and the Chiefs lose a game, and Bengals beat the Bills, they are the first seed. That's your AFC playoff picture. Now moving on to the NFC side of things. The Eagles have the first round bye, which I think they'll have. The Minnesota Vikings would face off versus the Washington Commanders as of right now. There's some other teams I think could sneak in to that final 7 spot. The Giants would go play the San Francisco 49ers. Then the Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Cowboys could go play the Buccaneers. I think the Panthers could get that potential last playoff spot. Look out for the Packers as well to try to get that last playoff spot from either Washington or New York. So that is the current playoff picture right now for the NFL. All right, guys, that'll do it for today's video. Make sure you guys head over to the live and Q&A tonight at 7:30. We're going to be live at 7:30 talking it up. We had a great live stream last time, so make sure you guys tune in at 7:30. We're going to be chatting it up. And we're going to be also live on Instagram, on TikTok, if you don't have YouTube and you can't make it on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on all of our platforms. And go check out Jaden's jerseys, guys. If you guys want awesome gear like this, we are fully stocked with 90s and early 2000s throwback jerseys. So make sure you guys go check out Jaden's jerseys. The social media is right here next to me. So make sure you guys go check that out.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media, and check out our videos each week.